Hello and welcome to Learn Conversational English. I'm Laura, and this is the podcast where we have simple, natural conversations in English, just like real people do every day. Whether you are a beginner or an intermediate learner, this show is for you. We speak clearly, we use everyday words and expressions, and we hope you always feel comfortable listening. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
And I'm Jim. Laura and I are both from Canada, so you might hear a few Canadian things come up as we talk. Today, we are talking about something very close to our hearts. Coffee. That's right, coffee. We're going to talk about our morning routines, our coffee habits, memories, coffee shops, and how coffee is such a big part of everyday life. This is going to be a fun one.
I love this topic. Honestly, I could talk about coffee all day. Jim, let me start with a simple question. What is the very first thing you do in the morning?
The very first thing, I make coffee. Without question. I don't even really think about it. I just get up, walk to the kitchen, and start the coffee maker. It's like my body just knows what to do.
That's a great expression, by the way. My body just knows what to do. It means something is automatic. You do it without thinking. Learners, try to remember that one. I'm exactly the same as Jim. I wake up and coffee is the first thought in my head, before anything else.
And in Canada, especially in winter, coffee is just, you really need it. When it is minus 20 degrees outside and there's snow everywhere, just holding a warm cup of coffee in your hands before you go out, it makes a real difference.
Minus 20. Yes, that is a real Canadian winter morning. Cold air, dark sky, snow on the ground, and a hot cup of coffee. That is honestly one of my favorite feelings. You feel warm and cozy before you have to face the cold outside.
Cozy. That is such a perfect word for that feeling. Cozy means warm, comfortable, and relaxed, usually at home or in a small, comfortable space. And a hot drink on a cold morning is the definition of cozy.
I love that word too. So, Jim, how do you take your coffee? Do you drink it black, or do you add things to it?
I drink mine with a little bit of milk. Not too much, just enough to make the color a bit lighter. No sugar, though. I used to add sugar when I was younger, but not anymore. What about you?
I usually have mine with milk too, but sometimes, and this might sound very Canadian, I put a tiny bit of maple syrup in it instead of sugar.
Maple syrup and coffee? I love that idea. It gives it a completely different flavor, doesn't it? It's sweet, but also a little earthy, more natural tasting than regular sugar.
Exactly. Maple syrup has its own special flavor. It's not just sweet. It tastes a bit like the forest, if that makes sense. And maple syrup is something Canada is very famous for. It comes from maple trees, and we produce a huge amount of it every year. So using it in coffee feels very local, very homey.
Homey, that is another great word. It means something that feels like home, comfortable and familiar. And I think that describes coffee perfectly for most people. It's a homey feeling.
It really is. Jim, do you mostly make coffee at home, or do you go out to a coffee shop?
Both, honestly. At home in the morning because it's faster and I'm still half asleep, but during the day I love going to a coffee shop. There's something really nice about sitting in a coffee shop. The smell, the sounds, the feeling of being around other people but still being in your own little world.
In your own little world. I love that expression. It means you feel separate from everything around you. Focused on your own thoughts, even when there are other people nearby. Coffee shops are great places for that. I sometimes bring a book, or I just sit and watch the people walking by.
People watching. That is one of the best things to do in a coffee shop. Just sitting quietly and watching the people around you. It sounds very simple, but it is actually very relaxing and interesting.
Very interesting. You see all kinds of different people and you wonder about their lives. Now, Jim, we have to talk about Tim Hortons. We can't have a conversation about coffee in Canada without it.
Tim Hortons, of course. For listeners who don't know, Tim Hortons is a very popular Canadian coffee chain. You can find one on almost every street in Canada. It started in 1964, and it's been a part of Canadian life ever since.
It's not just a coffee shop. It's almost like a symbol of Canada. When people think about everyday Canadian life, Tim Hortons is part of the picture. People stop there before work, after hockey practice, on long road trips across the country.
I grew up going to Tim Hortons with my dad on Saturday mornings after hockey practice. He always got a large double-double, and I got a hot chocolate. But now I always get a coffee. Times change.
That's such a sweet memory. And double-double, that is a very Canadian expression. Jim, do you want to explain what that means?
Of course. A double-double is a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars. That's how people order it at Tim Hortons. It's so common that almost every Canadian knows exactly what it means without explaining. You just say, "Large double-double, please," and everyone understands.
The first time I heard it, I had no idea what it meant. I thought it was a special secret drink. But no, 2 creams, 2 sugars, simple but totally Canadian. And this is something I love about language. Every culture has its own special words for everyday things.
That's so true. And for learners, this is a really good thing to pay attention to. The small, everyday expressions people use tell you so much about the culture. Coffee has its own vocabulary in every country.
For example, grab a coffee. That one is very natural and casual. It means to get a coffee, often quickly and informally. Hey, do you want to grab a coffee? It sounds friendly and relaxed. It's an easy invitation.
And let's catch up over coffee. Catch up means to talk with someone after a long time apart. You share news, you hear about each other's lives, and coffee is always a great reason to meet someone and catch up.
Coffee is such a social thing, isn't it? It brings people together. I think that's one of the reasons it means so much to people. It's not only about the drink, it's about the moment. Sitting down with someone, talking, taking your time.
Completely. Coffee's really about connection, a connection to the people around you, a connection to your daily routine, and also a connection to memories. Laura, do you have a strong memory that involves coffee? A specific moment you remember clearly?
I do, actually. When I was in university, I used to study late at night at a small coffee shop near my campus. It was open until midnight. I'd sit there for hours with a big cup of coffee and my textbooks spread out on the table. It was stressful sometimes, but I have really warm memories of that place. The lights were soft, there was quiet music playing, and the coffee kept me going.
Kept me going. That's a great expression. It means something gave you the energy or the strength to continue. Coffee keeps a lot of people going. And that place sounds really special. Sometimes a place becomes meaningful not because of what it looks like, but because of what happens there, the feelings, the people, the moments.
That's so true. And the smell of coffee is very connected to those memories for me. Scientists say that smell is the sense most connected to memory. So when I smell coffee, especially late at night, it takes me right back to that little coffee shop at.
It takes me right back. That is a wonderful expression. It means a smell, a sound, or something you see suddenly makes you feel like you are in a past moment again, very quickly, very strongly. Coffee does that for so many people.
What about you, Jim? Any strong coffee memories?
My biggest coffee memory is the first time I had a really good espresso. I was traveling in Italy, and if you ever visit Italy, you have to try the coffee there. It is a completely different experience from what we are used to in North America.
I've heard Italian coffee is on another level.
It really is. Very strong, very small, just a tiny cup, but the flavor is so rich and so deep. And in Italy, they often drink espresso standing at the bar, not sitting down at a table. It's quick, it's social, and it's part of the daily rhythm. I stood at this small coffee bar in Rome, had this tiny cup, and I thought, this is the best thing I have ever tasted.
The daily rhythm. I love that. It means the regular pattern of your day, the things you do again and again. And coffee is a big part of the daily rhythm for so many people around the world. In Italy, in Canada, in Japan, in Brazil, everywhere really.
It shows how coffee culture is different around the world. In Canada, we like big cups. We sit down, we take our time. In Italy, a quick espresso at the bar is normal. In some cultures, making coffee is a ceremony. It's done slowly and carefully, with a lot of meaning. Different habits, different styles, but the same love for the drink.
And the feeling of comfort and warmth that coffee brings, that seems to be universal. Universal means something that is true everywhere, in every country and culture. Coffee as a source of comfort is definitely universal.
Laura, I have one last question about coffee for you. If you could only drink one type of coffee for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Just one? That's a tough question. Let me think. I think I would choose a flat white. It's espresso with smooth, creamy milk. It's not too strong and not too milky. For me, it's just right. What about you?
I would choose a regular drip coffee, the kind you make at home in the morning. Simple, warm, familiar. Nothing fancy, just a good, honest cup of coffee to start the day.
That is so you, Jim. And familiar is a really useful word here. It means something you know well, something that feels comfortable because you have experienced it many times. A familiar cup of coffee is like an old friend.
An old friend. I really like that. And I think that's exactly why people love coffee so much. It's reliable, it's comforting, it's part of your day, every single day. Whether you're in Canada, staring at a winter snowstorm, or in Italy, standing at a coffee bar, or studying late at university, coffee is there.
Coffee is always there. I love that. And reliable is such a good word to end on. Reliable means you can always count on something. It will never let you down. A good cup of coffee is always reliable.
Just like this podcast, we hope, always here, always reliable.
Always here. And on that note, it is time to wrap up today's episode. Wrap up means to bring something to an end, to finish. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We really hope you enjoyed today's conversation and that you picked up a few new words and expressions along the way.
It was so much fun talking about coffee today. If you have your own coffee habits or coffee memories, we would love to hear about them. Keep listening, keep practicing your English every day, and remember, every conversation is a chance to learn something new.
We will be back very soon with a brand new episode. Until then, take care of yourselves and go enjoy your next cup of coffee. See you soon.
See you next time.